Welcome to another FlexCast. I'm Dina Hall, and I'm here with you on what's today? Today is Wednesday, August 19th, and we call this Flex Adapt with Intent, contemplating performing and visual arts during uncertain times. And tonight we're going to stray just a little bit from the actual performance art or the visual art, and we're going to talk to someone who is in the business of putting musical instruments in the hands of people, and there's more to it than that as well. So tonight I want you to welcome with me, and anyone who might be watching right now. I don't know how you welcome someone from your home here, but if you're so inclined, say hello. This is we're going to bring in right now. Mike Nelson is Senior Director of Marketing at Martin Guitar, and responsible for something that we call Jam in Place that's happening on the live stream. So that's one of our connections to all of that. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Dina. Thanks for having me on tonight. Very
Very
excited to be
nice.
here.
It's super. It's really nice to meet you. You know, I only know a handful of people in the the management side. I know a lot of people that work at Martin. I have quite a few friends working there, but only a handful of you that are up in the sales and marketing end of it. So it's nice. It's nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
Um, the first thing I want to bring up is the Jam in Place. I saw that happen when you started it, and I thought it was a very cool thing for a non music producing, presenting, not a venue, but actual. Um, I thought that was kind of cool that you did that. So how did that
Thank you.
come to be?
Well, like everything with this pandemic, it just seemed to happen very quickly. We shut down one day. We realized that a lot of our artists, all of a sudden, all of their gigs were canceled. They couldn't work, and we really started it just to help them, to continue to give them a platform where they could perform and connect with their audience. And we really went into it with almost no plan. We just said, we need to do a live stream. Can we get a few artists to do it? The response was overwhelming, and we've now featured over 90 artists over the last 4 months. Started out as an everyday thing, realized that we were going to burn out if we kept doing it every night.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now we're down to one day a week, but it's going
Good.
great.
Yeah. How did that, like the technology under that, did you have people that actually worked for you that knew what to do and said, sure, we can do this?
Luckily, we've done it in the past, but on a very limited basis with a lot more planning. Our social media manager, Keaton Yo, is familiar with the Facebook live streaming. Our artist relations manager, had worked with the artists as well to do some live streaming before. So we had a base knowledge, but to be honest with you, it was just learn as we go. I mean, we had so many glitches where the artist couldn't figure out how to turn their mic on, or the video wasn't working, and we'd postpone, or a few of them we had to move to different dates. But that's the beauty of it, is that I think everyone forgives you for it. We just continue to get better as we go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of forgiveness happening. There's going to be a really cool outtakes reel at some
Yeah.
point. If somebody could compile all of that.
Especially behind the scenes and all the swearing and everything that was going on. But
Yeah.
luckily that wasn't recorded.
Listen, I had a really a sweaty night. I was supposed to be playing for one of the Easton Out Loud events and streaming from here from my home. And for whatever reason, here's what happened. The actual back end of the Facebook Live, the thing that you log into and go to make all the settings, changed literally the night before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know what to do. I'm cool with that. It's fine. And then I opened it up and I thought, oh my gosh, it's not working. It's not working. 20 and just like, I'm sorry. I'll keep playing.
But isn't that the same as with any live performance? You never know if the equipment's going to work. You pray everything comes together, and you figure it out as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So when was that started? Like back in March, right?
Yeah, so the end of March, I think we were one of the first to really get live music up
Yeah,
and going. And yeah, we had the idea on a Thursday, and we had our first performance on a Friday.
that's
So
that's fabulous.
the beauty of
We'll
technology
do
is
that.
that
Yeah,
it was there, and we could do it, and we took
and you
advantage
had
of it.
and people ready to jump in and take care of that. That's cool. So a lot of that stuff is done. It's in house. You have an in house marketing and communications department.
Yeah, a small
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
but a really dedicated team that's been working tirelessly to make it happen. We've got our creative team doing the graphics, and when I say team, it's two people. We have our
that's a
social
team.
media. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
A social media manager who I mentioned. He
yeah,
pretty much handles all of the logistics to make sure that everything goes off, on
yeah.
time, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it.
When they're supposed to do it. So I'm going to try to put something up on the screen here for a second. This was the New Respects.
Yep.
You had them last week, I guess it was. I was so First of all, this artwork is very cool. I do like
Thank you.
that. I'm sitting here, a graphic designer myself, so that I've been able to call on that background, to get this thing going too. But the New Respects, we saw them at Music Fest a couple of years ago and absolutely loved them. But they were in all their electric glory and they were fabulous. And then I saw them at the Levitt Pavilion, same thing.
Yep.
So seeing them in this acoustic, sitting on the back of the couch in their family home was really cool. Was that
Yeah, I
easy
think we're
to?
seeing a lot of artists in a new element, and I think it's going to open up a whole new range of fans for them,
Yeah,
and just broaden their music base. I
yeah,
think it's been great, and there's no doubt it's helping us because let's face it, the acoustic guitar is perfect for just playing at home, and
yeah.
and has the right size, the right sound for
Mhm.
live streaming.
Well, so's the accordion.
Well, of
Well,
course, and I hear their
I,
business is booming too. So.
well, yeah. In many respects, I can't stop thinking about it. And it, for me, coming from a place of Godfrey Daniels as a listening room, it was not a place I would think of, automatically like, oh, they'd be cool for a space like this. But seeing them in that acoustic setting, I think it would be they've. I would love to be able to, bring them back here and bring them in for someday, uh,
Hopefully sooner
sooner
rather than
than
later.
later, some sort of acoustic performance. Or it doesn't have to be totally acoustic. Anyway, so do you have extra, some sort of ongoing plans for this? Do you think it's going to keep evolving?
Yeah, I mean it evolves every week. We partnered with Music Fest,
Mm-hmm.
and which just recently ended, and we took the Jam in Place to the Music Fest stage and had 10 days straight of artists playing the Jam in Place stage. Um, so it's just a new way to get that platform out there. And I see it. I mean, honestly, I really hope that it becomes can become a launching pad for some artists to get noticed.
Mm.
A way for people to connect with their fans if they can't tour or if they're not going to be able to get into a certain market. So we're in this for the long haul. I don't see this stopping. When the pandemic's over, we want to keep it going because I just think it has a
That's
lot of value
interesting.
for everybody.
So are there other festivals that you think, whether they're going to be virtual or not, that you would maybe be a part of in this way?
Well, we're already working with IBMA and Bluegrass World Festival, which is going to be virtual at the end of September. So we've got a Jam in Place series planned for that as well, and I expect to do that with a handful of other festivals that we've normally worked with in person, and they'll be going virtual as well.
We're kind of talking strictly. I mean, I hate to just focus on guitar, but I mean, you brought up the bluegrass. I mean, a Martin guitar is a staple in the bluegrass genre,
Of course.
right? So I think it's a natural fit. So when we're talking about not being a venue, not being a presenter, but having artist relations, which is so key for an instrument manufacturer maker. This is probably crucial to maintain this artist relations and this outreach during this time, right? Because people aren't just going out shopping
Right.
for guitars or anything.
Yeah, and that was one of the, like I said in the beginning, we had originally started it just to help our artists and let them connect with their fans. But then we started to realize, this is good for us as well, because it allows us to stay out in front of an audience that pretty much disappeared. They're not in stores looking at guitars. Yeah. I mean, all the stores had shut down. And everybody's habits instantly changed. So we wanted to find a way. It ended up becoming this way that we could stay, I guess, relevant, for lack of a better term, and visible to these music fans out there. Because otherwise, where are they going to see people playing guitar except on old YouTube videos?
Right. So has it? I mean, that's an odd question for me to ask, but do you think that it has had an impact on sales?
It's hard to say, because of how everything's changed so much. Thankfully, we have seen an increase in sales over the last 4 months. I'm hoping that part of it was this Jam in Place session. We've seen a huge spike in our social media followers. Mm-hmm. So, if you connect the dots, you have to say that some of them became fans of Martin because of this, and then ultimately, when they decided they needed a guitar, they chose us.
Yeah, I can understand that. Do you think that? Can you see where in different product lines that have been affected, or is it just across the board?
It's across the board, really. Yeah. And now, when I'm speaking about acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
But other musical instruments or equipment haven't fared as well. Especially anything to do with live performance has really been struggling, from what we hear. And obviously our retailers, a lot of them are really struggling as well. So we're trying to support them as best we can. But the good thing is that everybody's very resilient and finding ways to just continue on, whether they might not have had a website, or retailer might not have had a website in March, but now they do, and now they're selling online, and business is, really going well for them.
And they learned quickly how to find somebody who can get that set up for them.
Yep.
I imagine, I don't know, I have a somewhat, I don't want to say cynical mind, but I notice that occasionally I'll get the phone calls. I have a small business here in town, and I'll get the phone calls, and they'll say, we were looking at your website and we noticed that you don't have whatever it might be. So I'm sure that there are people out there looking to fill the need and provide the service. To dial
well, I know that firsthand. My email inbox is filled with all of the people offering to, quote unquote, help me.
Yes, we can boost your Google rating. Okay, thank you very much. Oh my gosh. So I'm sure one of the other things that has been affected is the ever popular Tour the Factory.
Yes. Yeah, that one hurts the most, is because we would have 30,000 people come through every year to tour the factory and the museum. And, that's when you really get to appreciate what goes into making these instruments, and understand, okay, there are a lot of craftsmen putting a lot of effort into each piece. And we just can't show them that anymore. I mean, that was probably one of the hardest decisions we made, was to shut down the visitor center and all of that. And we don't know when it's going to open. I mean, to be honest with you, it could be 6-8 months from now before we're allowing anybody back in. So one of the things we've done, and it's another way we've been able to adapt, is we comb through hours and hours of video that we had from the factory, and we're actually putting together a video tour of the factory. So that, it's really a sights and sounds of Martin, so that you can actually see up close how things are made. And we really wanted to do it live and do a new recording, but we have to keep our employees safe. The most important thing is to keep everyone safe and allow them to continue to build guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, hey, we must have enough video to do that. So over the last few months, we've been able to put that together, and hopefully next week we'll go live with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
But even more exciting is that, also, well, not exciting, but as we closed down the museum as well, and Chris Martin came to us a couple months ago and said, hey, I can't give museum tours anymore. I want to put them online. So we've been recording, a few at a time. We released two sessions where Chris is giving a virtual tour of the factory, and that's up on our website now. And we'll have an episode every week or so for the next month, so people can tune in and hear directly from Mr. Martin himself.
And the website is Martin Guitar. Is it
martinguitar.com.
.com. I'm just gonna put that up so. Oh, I'm typing and I'm talking at the same time. It's not a good thing. martinguitar.com, so folks can look for that virtual tour with Chris Martin on there. So that's okay. So that video is ready now. I had an event. This is really interesting because I had an event that was supposed to happen last year. It was a concert at the Ice House here in Bethlehem. I've done for the last few years, but this year the recipient of some of the proceeds was going to be the Brockle Middle School music program here in the south side of Bethlehem, and one of their music teachers, Amy Putlock, a friend of mine, was wanting to take her students to the factory on the tour, and that concert was intended to the benefit proceeds from that were intended to help them pay for transportation, because that was the one thing that wasn't in the budget. Concert was canceled. That was not happening. So I'm wondering if through her, I will pass the word on to her through her virtual teaching, perhaps that virtual tour will be available for them.
That's what we're hoping. Anybody that was planning to come to the factory, it's not the same. We understand that, but it's the next best thing, and you really do get a good sense of what is happening in the factory. The one thing missing is you just can't get that great wood smell.
Yeah, I've been there. I took that tour a number of years ago with a group that I was a member of. So have you had to sort of adapt the manufacturing process, the workspaces where people are working?
We were really lucky with that, because the way the factory was laid out, everyone was already well spaced. So all we had to do, we put a lot of work into it, and the team did a great job. But for the most part, it was putting up partitions between the workstations. We didn't have to spread anything out. We didn't have to remove anything. So that was great. I think the hardest part for everyone is just getting used to wearing the masks and not congregating. We have close to 500, a little under 500 employees, and it's a very social place. So I think that's probably the hardest thing that everybody had to get used to was, you come in, you work at your workstation, you have lunch alone, and then you go back to work. But I'll have to say, everyone seems to be doing a great job with it. Nobody has really been has complained. I'm sure they're not thrilled with it, but
when they get home.
Yeah, exactly. But the output has been great, and the guitars are better than ever.
They are. That's wonderful. So I'm wondering how difficult it is for, are you hiring people during this process? Are they other people starting the job during this time?
Yeah, actually, we were just talking about that today. We are hiring, because like I mentioned before, the demand for acoustic guitars is high right now, and we've got a lot of catching up to do because we were closed for 3 months. I mean, we could not make a single guitar for 3 months. So we are hiring, but it's with some people, the first time they'll step in the factory will be the day they start.
Yeah.
Everything is being done over Zoom or something like that, some kind of video conferencing. We actually did film some specific tasks so they could see how those tasks work and all of the steps, so they could learn and understand what they were applying for. So it's really just another example of how we've had to adjust. And we'll see how it goes. You have to do the best you can under the circumstances, but so far we have hired a few new people, and hopefully they stay for a long time.
Yeah. So all right, I got to ask the question. Are you a guitar player?
I am a guitar player. I am not a good guitar player. I've been playing for a little over 2 years. And although I did play when I was much younger, and unfortunately just didn't stick with it, but I am so happy to be back into it. It's a lot of fun, and I've got my kids learning and probably be better than me within, a few months.
Well, so do they think you have a cool job?
Yes, they do, especially on the artist side. Believe me, they want to come. Anytime we have an artist visit the factory, or anytime we're doing some kind of live stream and I get to talk to one of them, they want to be a part of it.
That's cool. And so you still have the ongoing, I mean, the Martin Owners Club is probably having some sort of virtual communication.
Yeah, unfortunately we usually had an annual event, and we weren't able to do that this year, where Owners Club got to meet Chris Martin and tour the factory. So we're looking at other things we can do to provide value to them, whether it's more discounts on products, or some free goodies throughout the year that you get, that other customers wouldn't get if you weren't part of the club.
Do you know how many are there? How many owners in that club are there?
We've got close to 10,000. So a lot of people to keep.
They
keep
love
happy.
their Martin. They love their Martins. Yeah.
Yes,
they love them.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So I just keep thinking about all the challenges. People, they think about from the user end and from the buyer perspective. They don't really understand what a company, a corporation, or the actual marketing, what that actually includes, and sort of sort of like what falls under your job purview.
That's a good question. It's a lot. At least that's what I tell my boss. But
and who's
everything.
That?
That's Mitchell Nolan.
Oh, so Mitchell. Okay, so
yep.
I'm understanding the order of things. I know Mitchell.
So Mitchell's the vice president of sales and marketing.
Okay.
And a big fan of Godfrey Daniels.
Yes, he is.
He's been there many times, as have I. So it's
cool,
fun. And in fact, we did shoot a few of our videos at Godfrey Daniels.
I remember that. Yes.
So to answer your question, anything from social media to our website to the print advertising that we do, any public relations that we have, as far as working with different shows like American Idol or things like that, making sure the contestants are playing guitars on those programs, artist relations, as we've discussed, and anything that puts the Martin brand name out there in the public,
like movie and TV placement, maybe.
Yeah. A little over a year ago, the movie Yesterday came out in theaters, and we worked closely with production on that to make sure that the star of that was playing a Martin, and made sure that we worked with the movie company to help promote it.
How does that come down your pipeline? Like, how do you know ahead of time? Like, somebody's saying, "Oh, movie coming up, gonna have somebody playing a guitar."
Well,
Prominently.
we maintain a good number of connections at whether it's the movie studio or the companies that provide the props for the movies. And yeah, they'll say, hey, we have a movie that has a guitar player. They're looking for this type of a guitar. Can you help us out?
That's great. That's the
And
stuff we don't think about.
no, it's all that behind the scenes that, you know, a lot of things go on just to make, you know, a few things happen. Like just, yeah, I know that with the movie yesterday, the star Hamish Patel spent about 5 or 6 hours in a store in London, one of our stores in London, and before he finally picked out the right guitar for him.
So you bring up the international component to this. Is Jam in Place happening anywhere else?
It's happening in the UK.
Uh-huh.
They are reposting the Facebook streams there, and we are a few of the other markets around the world are taking them and using certain artists that that they know would be popular in their market to help promote it. So it's not a regular thing, but we are in talks with some of our international distributors to actually create a local Jam in Place.
Yes, that's cool. Is it the Jam in Place? Is that strictly broadcast over Facebook?
Yes, that's where we started, and we've decided to keep it there. And at this point, we don't have any plans to move it.
To change it. I'm personally, I sort of waver back and forth whether that's should be, should everything reside there? Should we have other, because not everyone truly not. I mean, there are probably numerous people in my family that don't use Facebook at all.
Right.
So is it the end all? And I often wonder that.
I don't think so. It was one where we decided we established it there, so we wanted to keep it and didn't want to move it around, and people couldn't find it. But we do plan on taking that and creating a new series, maybe putting a few of the performances together and creating a series on YouTube so that people can find it. You don't have to tune in every Tuesday to see Jam in Place.
Right.
So that way, if you want to find an episode or a couple sessions that of artists you like, you can go to YouTube.
Okay, so maybe on an archival side of things, it might be easier to find it than searching through Facebook. Interesting.
Yes,
yeah, because I know I have a difficult time sometimes. People tell me they wanted to tune in, even to this. They wanted to tune in, but they couldn't find it.
Right.
Even though the links are there, it's not as easy as it might appear to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and my goal is to get it on some other platforms as well, like a Spotify and other channels.
You can put video on Spotify. I typically don't. I don't.
Yeah, like a video. It would be a podcast.
Oh, okay.
Essentially.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, giving me
so many things. So
something
many
to
things
think
to
about
learn.
now. Yeah. I've stayed away from platforms like Spotify. I watch, I read the tweets, those people that I follow, the Jason Isbells and the Gretchen Peters, etc. And some people might not know who Gretchen Peters is. She's a top she's had songwriting awards that she didn't record the songs, but she wrote the songs. So she's the writer, and she's collecting pennies for these multi-million-dollar hits like Independence Day, Martina McBride, Independence Day.
Really?
Massive song, right? And everybody thinks it's a patriotic song when in fact it's about domestic abuse. And Gretchen Peters wrote the song. Well, when that song is streaming, she's not making a whole lot of money, but it's a mega hit.
Yeah,
So
the system is definitely broken in some respects.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah,
You know, and if when it comes to our jam in place, for me, it really goes back to why we started it.
yeah,
It's just to help the artists get out there. If we can, wherever it's streaming or wherever it's located, if that's going to build awareness for them
yeah.
and build a fan base, we're happy.
I'm sure it's working for them all. No, there's no doubt. Oh, that's great. Um, so we don't really know. None of us, we talk about someday. We talk about what the future might bring, but we have absolutely no idea. So we're just sort of. It would seem to me that you and your team have to continue to just rolling with what comes down the line next.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we're just taking it week by week, month by month, and the way we adjusted to everything changing almost overnight, when and if things get back to normal, which I know we'll be here before you know it, we'll just adjust again. We
yeah.
just this week had to shift our plans for the NAM show, the National Association of
Oh,
Music Merchants, which is in January, and they just announced that it's going to be an all virtual show.
whoa.
And that was big. I mean, we took 40, 50 people to the show, and we met
Hmm.
hundreds of our vendors and customers and retailers, and we now have to completely change the way we think about it. And how are we going to interact with everybody? How are we going to plan and prepare for it? So you just take it as it comes, and you figure it out.
So it doesn't. Does that affect? Uh, does that affect the budget? I mean, I don't know any other way to ask that. Does it cost more? Does it cost less?
We're hoping it's going to cost less, but we haven't, since it was really just announced last week. We haven't figured all that out yet.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's a lot less travel involved, so
Okay.
I could say our travel budget's going to be a lot lower. As
That
far as everything else, it's you kind of shift from one thing to another. We're not building a booth for the show, but we're going to have to build all of the videos and everything that's going to be played during the virtual show.
I guess in the end, it depends on what the return is.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter what the outlay was. What's the return?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
we've been doing it for so long. Even if it is virtual, we know the return is there for us. It's a
Yeah,
massively important
sure.
event for us every year.
Yeah, I've paid attention to that in the last few years. Yeah, I wanted to also mention to you. I know I had touched on this in one of my emails to you about the raffle that we held at Godfrey's. Th- it was very, very frightening to
Right.
in March to know that we just received we buy the guitar. It's a wonderful deal. We get a good price on it. Then you all throw in I'm gonna go to the right direction here. The little Martin is the one hanging up on the wall behind me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine is up there. But so we have one of those for our second prize, and then we had strings. We had a third prize, and everybody thought, how are we going to sell tickets? We sell the bulk of the
Right.
tickets at Music Fest on the culmination of everything on that last Sunday, and we have Godfrey Daniels Day in the Liederplatz courtyard, and we sell most of the tickets. Probably 90% of the tickets get sold in that
Wow.
one day, and it it got I sweated through the first month, and then I started to get creative and realized that I would need some little videos.
Yep.
And I called on my friends who work at Martin, and I thought, does anybody have this particular, it was a 00016, that you can just play something and send it over to me? I need hands on the guitar playing really well. And nobody I knew, my friends, didn't have access to it at the time
Mm.
because the factory was still closed.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I sort of came up with a couple of them myself, but I needed more than just I needed more representation. And I called one of as time went on, and I knew everybody was back to work, but I called one of your employees, is a friend of mine, Jay Lapp, who's in quality assurance,
Sure.
and I called Jay and met him down under the bridge in Bethlehem along the river and had him just take a quick video. And
That's great.
This is testament to the community, because there's an overlap between that Godfrey's and Martin, and a
Sure.
lot of, I mean, the greater music community here in the Lehigh Valley, especially because it's where we are. And the ticket sales almost tripled.
Wow, that's great.
From previous years. So it were, now I don't know, that's not saying it will always be that way, because people are, the point I'm making is that people are responding right now. They're just totally responding to this in such positive ways.
We've seen that too. Everybody's been so charitable. You know, with Jam in Place, we had a few artists would put up a tip jar. So they're not touring, so their band members aren't getting paid. The road team isn't getting paid. So they would, and they did better than any concert that they would do.
Fabulous.
So yeah, no, it's so good to see. Everybody's been so supportive. It's been great.
Wow. All right. Well, I think that, you know, this is all good stuff. Is there anything else you want to mention?
I think we've covered it all. I could talk for hours, but I don't think anybody's going to want to hear me talk for hours. So.
We've talked. We got it all squared away. We said covered some good stuff. I appreciate it so very much. And this is going to be this will be archived on keep it on YouTube, and then archive it onto my website. So we'll be able to let anybody who wants to watch and listen to what you've had to say later on, they can tune in and do that as well. Thanks so much, folks. My guest tonight has been Mike Nelson, Senior Director of Marketing at Martin Guitar. There's a lot of words that sound similar in there. martinguitar.com. You can find out what's going on with that upcoming virtual tour, as well as Chris Martin and the tour of the Martin Museum, which is readily available now. Cool.
It is.
All right.
Thanks, Dina.
Thanks so much.
Real pleasure being on tonight.
Yes. Next time I meet you, it will be in person.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right. I do require everyone to try to give me a high five. And it's not easy. It's so not easy.
Oh, we got to go that way. There we go.
Ah!
Nice.
I almost fell off my chair. All righty.
We got it.
So much. I'll see you later.
Dina.
Okay.
Take care.
Oh, folks, it's always interesting trying to do that. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Coming up on September 2nd, my friend Josh Kenoski, he's a drummer with the David Bromberg Band, who is not touring right now and haven't since February. Along with Josh will be his friend and mine, Quentin Fisher from the Serene Green Bluegrass Band, and they are not necessarily touring right now, and they're playing little bits of shows here and there. And then on September 9th, Aaron Alcasov of Engineer Hankerson, stand-up and improv comedy from right here in the Lehigh Valley. They are most notably associated with Arts Quest. Aaron actually also runs the helps run the improv comedy jam at Godfrey Daniels also, which is also not happening. So these things, I hate to keep saying that they're not happening, so we're here to tell you what is actually happening. So thanks for tuning in, and like I said, this is going to be archived, and we will talk back at you in a couple of weeks. Maybe something else in between. I don't know if I have. I might be able to pop somebody in here in the meantime. Thanks so much.